I did it again. I recorded 3.5 minutes of a video to realize that I didn't unmute the microphone. What's up, guys? My name's Matt, and I make videos and post them on YouTube, and they're supposed to be daily, but this kid over here is really sucking lately. So I was explaining that the basketball all-star game is going on in Cleveland. I don't know nothing about basketball, so I don't know if this happens yearly or if this is like it's happening in Cleveland this year. I don't know. All I do know is that everybody goes there and 50% of them for whatever reason decide that they're just going to try to find a room after the afterwards, and what ends up happening is then if they finish and then they have to go find a hotel, and they find out that every room is sold out for every hotel. Farther and farther you go, it's the same thing. So um, there's a police officer outside my building now. I'm pretty sure he's just circling the parking lot because they generally do that on busy nights, but for all I know he could be parking and coming inside. I don't know. And uh, so they have to travel farther and farther away, and I'm 45 minutes away from where this event's going on, and we were only supposed to have 30 people here, like at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then here it is where we are, um, and by the time I got to work, the place was already packed. There was a whole room full of people. It was a busy, busy night to start off with, but has partially to do with what I wanted to talk about now anyways, is just the fact that I got to work, I walked in the door, there's 10 plus people standing with their luggage in the room, the main room. Just pretty much to the point where you could tell where it's like, okay, well, um, the guy that's running his shift, he's falling behind, and it's right at that time where I'm supposed to be switching over anyways, so like, fortunately we could tag team it right there at the end. And but initially, my anxiety sets off. I have bad anxiety. I hate dealing with people. Uh but I came in, I took everything off, I went out there, I got myself logged in. I said, is there somebody I can help? Next thing you know, the line's now forming in front of me. Um, I checked in like 6 people in the amount of time it took him to do one. Uh, I am very good at this job, and I'm very good at getting it done. So it's that initial fact of like let my anxiety kick up real bad and think, oh my god, fuck, there's so many people. Oh my god, like this is gonna suck. I don't want to have to deal with this right when I get to work. But it's like the job and duty of this front desk is to literally go from point A to point B, in the sense of they show up for their room. The faster that you can hand them their keys and get them in their room, the happier they're going to be and the happier you're going to be. And there is some signing, some things have to be signed and some things still have to be done. But there are steps that a lot of people that I work with do that are steps that I do as well, but they're steps I can do when the customer isn't standing in front of me versus making them stand there and wait for our system or wait for me to fill their address out. It's like I got it from you, I have it now in my system, and as soon as you walk away, I'll fill out whatever else needs to be filled out, and done deal bob, done deal roskies. Um, I'm sure everybody else doesn't do it mainly because of the fact that they don't know if something could go wrong. For whatever reason, the account doesn't allow you to check somebody in because of something or one way or the other. I don't know. I can't really think of anything off the top of my head that wouldn't allow you to, but I'm just meaning I'm sure that's the reason why people don't, is they have that fear that they're going to let that person leave, and then once that person's already gone in their room, something's going to happen, and they're going to have to call and say, I'm sorry, but I couldn't actually get you checked in. But that's, I don't, usually the steps that I do aren't that important and stuff. They're the ones where you can do with no one being there and not worry about them not being checked in. So, um, I had a lot of happy faces and a lot of happy people was telling me, "Man, you go so fast. You go so fast," because of the fact that these people were standing there waiting for him to check them in as he slowly did the one check-in that he was doing when I got here, and then I show up and checked practically everybody else in. Um, and then he did one other person after he finished his, and then I did the rest. So I mean, I did like 7 or 8 check-ins within the first like 15 minutes of being here. And that's why my bosses like me. I get my job done. I do it greatly. I get lots of people to be very happy. I've weirdly enough, at least they say that I haven't, but I have this odd feeling like there's got to be like a lie, like they're just not telling me, but they swear that I've never had a bad complaint against me, and I just find that very like I've had a lot of people really mad at me, and I've said some mean things to people because they've said some mean things to me. So like I don't know, it's just kind of that. I guess bygones be bygones. They just let shit go, but it's like I don't know. I can't see that there's not a single person in a year and a half that's never complained about me. But I do know that there are a few comments that are actually about me that are good. Um, I don't have access to them, and the girl who does, I don't know if I said something to her about possibly printing off all the ones that are about me, if she would, or if she would care, or if she would just look at me like, why? But just because I could read them to you guys, what people have said. I mean, most of the times it's something simple of like, oh, he was a nice guy, or very helpful. But there are some times that people write like a whole 2 paragraph explanation about why I was so nice and what amazingness I did for them and blah blah blah. It's just nice to hear people be grateful of the actions that you take, because it's like I'd say I don't put a ton of effort into this job because I am I am more human than I am a, you know I'd rather not just rip somebody off and just to sell a room. I'd rather sell a room for a moderate price because that's what I would do if I was in that position of wanting to need a room. Like, I work the weekends, right? I'm sorry, I forgot this glare was there, and I'm sure it's been a blurry video for the first 8 minutes. Um, but really, this lighting has not been nice to me. Hey, different angle. So, yeah, I work the weekends, and so we're talking like Friday, Saturday, Sunday type thing. Sundays aren't really a matter, so it's more like Friday and Saturday. But I work the weekends, so being as I work the weekends, I work the 2 popular days where it's everybody's out going somewhere, or you need to stay somewhere kind of thing. And um, so the my town, I've explained this before, but my town has 2 hotels in it. It's Comfort Inn and Holiday Inn. It's 2 different franchises, but in the same city. But the thing is that the person who owns both hotels is the same guy. So in theory, there's no actual competition in this town. So, if you had, say, 4 hotels in your town, I know I was holding up 5, but 4 hotels in your town, you know, you couldn't have one hotel be $150 and have the rest of them all be $100 because no one's going to stay there. But, you know, So that's why you all compete, and that's why you get rooms that, you have four hotels in a city, and on Friday night you can get a room for like $110, and that's pretty average. And then you come here, and we're charging 180 or 200, and people are like, "What?" Like mind blown. Like how that was not even 2 miles away. There's a city, and I was gonna able to pay $110 for a room, and then I come here, and it's double, almost triple the price. And it all comes down to the fact that it's actually 5 miles. Next closest hotel to us in any direction is 7 miles. It's 7 miles that way, 8 miles this way, and about seven this north in every direction. And so it's that whole convenience of, do you want to drive another 7 miles to get to a different place, or do you just want to take it here because it's here and it's available? So you just pay more and you deal with it. Um, but there's no competition. The two companies in this town aren't competing against each other, because in the long run, we're both making the same dude money. So we can charge anything we want. Not so much that mentality that we can charge whatever we want, but you know, the higher ups, my managers, they're the ones that set the prices for the weeks and stuff like that, and they obviously pay attention to what we did last year and stuff like that. And it's one of those things where I don't quite fully understand the whole system, but they can practically charge whatever they want within a range of price that they feel is comfortable for the amount of people we're supposedly supposed to have, how busy last year's was, all these different factors they'll factor in to figure this out. And um I wouldn't pay it. So I feel bad when people come in and ask for a room, and I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, but it's $100 or $270, and they're like, what? And it's like, yeah, I wouldn't go here either, because I'm more of a person. I'm a human more than I'm a robot. I'm trying to sell rooms because this is my job, but at the same time, I would never force somebody to try to pay 200 and some dollars for a room that I wouldn't pay 200 and some dollars for. So that's why I'm slightly flawed at this job. But besides that, I do pretty well. And actually, I don't know when it's supposed to happen, but I was told via email when I got to work, which is like, great, thanks for letting me know literally 2 hours before. But apparently the city is shutting down their internet to hook up new fiber optic cables or something like that. And they said it would be sometime between 1 a.m. and 6 a.m., and that when it goes out, it's going to be down for an hour to 2.5 hours. And when you do a job that literally requires me to use the internet to check people in, to check people out, this phone systems are set up through the internet. Obviously, the internet is set up through the internet, so unless I can get this uploaded in time, I might have to just wait until I get home to upload it, because then I don't have to worry about maybe it cutting out midway. I don't know. It's just going to be a pain in the butt, and I have to run night audit, which I run at 3, which should be coming up, because I'm behind tonight. I don't know what it is, but I was slow at getting ready for work, and then by the time I finally made it out to my truck to leave for work, it was completely covered in ice, because I forgot that we thawed out to 52 degrees one day, and then literally right back to the 20s. So everything that thawed out and made watery floods everywhere turned to freezing ice water, and my truck was covered in it. And so it had a little bit of time that it had kind of defrosted a little bit, but I had to spend another 5 minutes out there scraping. So by the time I jumped in my truck to actually leave for work, it was only 5 minutes to get here. Obviously, it was a little late if you couldn't have figured that one out. It takes me about 7 minutes if I caught all the lights. So, being as I did not catch all the lights, I'm sure it took me about 8.5. I got here, it was 11:02. So But that was like in the parking lot. It was 11:02. So probably by the time I came in and clocked in, it was probably like 11:04. But um, I always work 15, 20 minutes over my shift anyways, so I'm not really worried about showing up slightly late. I put in more time than what I'm supposed to every day anyways. Um, so in the midst of de-icing my truck, I broke my windshield wiper, which does not make me happy. I just went out there to smoke a cigarette and let my truck thaw the windshield a little bit more, tried to unbreak or get the windshield wipers unfrozen from my truck, and I noticed that as I was scraping earlier, I apparently smashed the end of it, because now my windshield wiper goes across my windshield and then just turns up really sharply. And when I grabbed it, I realized that I really it must have really jammed the scraper into it and bent it up. So now I need a new windshield wiper, which is just balls. I needed them anyways. Probably put some Windex shit, not Windex, whatever that what that stuff that makes it so the water just runs off of it. But I'm gonna go, guys, because I have to go do work stuff. So hopefully you guys like this video. If you did, a like would be much appreciated. If you're new to the channel, you should subscribe to keep up with cool videos like this one. Look at this flower. Somebody bought this flower and no one's watered it. And I can tell you why no one's watered it, because it's been or how I know that no one's watered it, because it's been a week since I saw it, and it is wilted as shit and dying, whereas when I last saw it, it was actually not wilted and dying. So that's the thumbnail. Yeah. Anyways, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for spending your time with me. If you want to subscribe to my channel, you can click on the circle thingy over here. And if you want to see the other videos that came out in 2022, they're hiding down here. This is for the playlist of all of 2022. It's not very large yet, but we're slowly growing, and I'm much larger than last year's. Alright, guys.